Okay, so good day everyone. Welcome back to our Wealth Building Journey podcast. Again, my name is Dennis Hilario and with my co-host Paul Familara. So now meron tayong nagbabalik na guest, si Sir Jojo Ampilocchio. Sir, kamusta? How are you?
Hello, good morning and good afternoon at good evening kung saan mang parte kayo ng mundo. Nice to be back. Thank you.
Ayun, Sir Paul, anything before we start our main topic?
Well, I just wanted to welcome all the audience again. Maraming salamat for always joining us here and listening to our episodes of the Wealth Building Journey. Medyo madami na rin yung mga nagiging interested to hear about us. And we've been guesting a few people already for the last 2 months. This is the 3rd month. And today nga may comeback guest tayo kasi hindi natin natapos yung magandang conversation last time and we had limited time. But today, we will delve into the more important part of his journey in wealth building, especially talking about the intricacies of his business. So Joe, welcome back and glad to have you again.
Marami na rin actually mga nagtatanong din, nagko-comment sa atin tsaka nagme-message about some needs nila pagdating sa wealth building journey and even sa business. So it's really valuable yung ating mga binibigay na mga insights sa kanila. So hopefully in this episode, we're gonna give more value. So I think ang main topic natin today is about actually a follow-through of our previous episode, more on the career transition and entrepreneurial journey and challenges ni Jojo. Siguro, if you can take us back dun sa moment when you decided to leave employment, what was again your motivation behind that leap?
Well, of course, the motivation is ambition, no? Halos lahat naman siguro ng nagdinegosyo, I think the motivation is always to have a better life, diba? To be able to earn more, afford more, live a better life, provide a better life for your family. So I think it's more of really ambition. So para sa akin, to some extent, a lot of people are saying or parang merong notion sometimes that ambition is bad, no? But I think ambition is not. Ambition's what motivates you to become better, to do better. I think yung from employment to business is really more about a person wanting to live a better life. So yun yung that's my motivation when I started putting up a business, and the first one was a talent agency nga, and then the second one is an advertising agency, and then the third one is an HR consultancy firm. So yan, so nagsimula sa ambition to live a better life, and then it becomes a passion, and then you start building and building, investing and then building, and then eventually it becomes a means for you to also be able to help, and be able to provide for other families, not only yours. So yun, that has been the motivation.
Kasi I think all of us, when we start the business, syempre we are excited, but at the same time, meron tayong mga worry din, or fears, In your case, what was your biggest fear or worry, when you were starting?
I remember during the last episode that we shot, I said na parang I mean, hindi ako yung tipong privileged to have parents who have money, so wala akong pangkapital, and as I said, pangkapital ko noon was really just savings na parang pang 6 na buwan na OPEX, 'di ba? So that was my runway. And then, syempre, puhunan mo din dyan yung laway. At saka, puhunan mo dyan yung network mo, the friendships that you've built along the years of, employment. So, I think yun yung and also your skills and your talents, yan yung pinakapuhunan. So yun lang yung mga fear mo doon na what if it fails. Pero alam mo, sa totoo lang, when I started, wala yung fear na yun eh. Hindi ko siya masyadong naisip. Naisip ko na lang siya eventually nung medyo lumalaki na. Medyo kinakabahan ka na, parang teka lang, parang ang dami ng buhay na nakasalalay sa iyo. So parang medyo mas doon ka na medyo mas kakabahan. Pero when I was starting, yung runway mo parang mas madali eh. Parang okay, sige, meron akong runway. If it doesn't work, okay lang, I can easily go back to employment maybe, ganon. Pero yun nga, as I've said, when I was starting, hindi ko nga naisip yun eh. Hindi ko naisip na what if it fails. I was so, I was so sure na it will work. Ganon. Yun, so that's how I started. Tapos yun, siguro maybe we can talk about struggles, diba? Kasi that's the topic of the episode. Eventually, I think yung scaling, para sa akin may mga milestones eh. Number one, when you're starting, yung runway is very important. You need to be able to calculate that properly. Kasi ano bang runway kailangan ko? 6 months ba? 1 year ba? 2 years ba? Etc. So I think that's very important for you to also understand how much funds you need to run your business. Diba? So yun yung unang milestone, yung starting it. And then eventually, yung decision of scaling. You need to also be able to really understand if it's time to scale, to grow or not. Diba? Parang okay na ako, dito na ako muna sa, okay naman ako na 5 lang empleyado ko for the rest of my life. Pwede naman yan. Pero meron ding time when you feel like, kaya ko pa siyang i-grow eh. Pwede pa eh. I mean, hindi pa ito yung dulo. You can still grow. You can still help more people, diba? So, yun yung importante. And then, of course, maintaining that. Like, for example, if you get to a certain level, like 40, 50 employees, yung maintaining yung 40 to 50 employees na yun, paano mo yan papasweldohin buwan-buwan, diba? Yun yung sakit ng ulo ng isang entrepreneur or business owner. And not a lot of people
Parang dati
sort
pag
of understand
15-30
that.
masaya ka, no? 15-30 masaya ka.
Dati,
Ngayon, pag entrepreneur ka na 15-30, kumakamot ka ng ulo mo. May cash
Parang
flow
hindi
ba?
ka makatulog, di ba? Tapos parang kang babangungutin pag mga 14, 29, gano'n, di mo alam kung, teka lang, may papansweldo ba tayo, di ba? So, I think that's the difference between an employee and an entrepreneur. Yun nga, tulad nga ng sabi ni Paul, of course, employees will always look forward to the 15th and the 30th. Tayo medyo parang dinidread na, teka lang, wala na bang pwedeng idagdag sa araw ng buwan na 30 days? Pwede ba pwedeng gawing 50 days? Yeah, so those yun yung challenges. And also, I think yung decision making is also very important. Like for example, during the pandemic, ang daming negosyong nagsara di ba? Maraming nagsara, pero yun then again, that's a decision you have to make eh. Parang, sasara ko ba o hindi? Kasi yung pagsara, meron din expense yan. There's also cost to that, di ba? When you close down a company, you have to, una, pay people. Second, you have to pay certain penalties as well. So, may cost din siya eh. So,
Tax clearance. Kailangan mo ng tax clearance.
tax clearances. Oo. So, parang, like nung pandemic, parang a lot of people were really caught surprised and shocked and not knowing what to do, di ba? So, yung una, yun nga, decision to whether close or not or to continue, very important. Importante rin yung pag-pivot. Like, okay, these are the changes that you're seeing, these are the trends that are happening. Anong gagawin mo ngayon as a businessman or a business person? Ano lang gagawin mo ngayon? You can't stick to your old ways if you know that there are new things happening, no? For example, like right now, AI. How do we now respond to AI? Maraming di nakakaalam. Ngayon, if you're very conservative and you don't want to learn about it, mauhuli ka sa karera. Hindi mo alam kung eventually your competitors are gonna eat you up. Yun, I think, yung struggles of being an entrepreneur. You also always have to innovate. You have to pivot. You have to innovate. You have to change course or direction if mali yung direction mo. And yun din, the humility to accept na, okay, may mga desisyon akong ginawang mali na dapat kong itama. So yun, I think yun yung mga challenges that we have encountered and hopefully able to overcome. Yan.
Pero gusto kong i-dwell dun sa na-mention mo about pandemic, Joe, dahil sabi mo nga, most, and we know this, most of the businesses were affected. My business was affected really largely. No, I went down to 10% of my usual income. But then again, I understand that we can still roll it over. So I had to let go of people and an office na babayaran mo monthly, wala naman lalabas, hindi naman pwede diba? So why would you keep that? And then you pivot into technology. And then
Yeah.
yung business mo, which is actually technology dependent, actually made it better for you. So in times of chaos, nagkaroon ka ng benefit, nagkaroon ka ng advantage. Talk to us about that. We would like to know, you mentioned about struggles, but hindi ba parang blessing in disguise nangyari sa'yo?
During the first episode, I said, no, na para, kaya nga ako very thankful because I know a lot of the things and successes that we've encountered and experienced were really more serendipitous eh. Pero syempre, serendipitous siya and then maybe, blessing ni God yan. Pero, yun nga, yung how you take advantage of that, no? Like yun, kami, during the pandemic, lumaki kasi we saw signs and we saw trends. So early on during the pandemic, lahat tayo stuck lang sa bahay, di ba? So I was just really watching mga master classes, etc. And then I did some research kasi wala ka namang magawa eh. So you really just have to, still sharpen the saw. Hindi ka pwedeng maging blunt, di ba? So hindi ka pwedeng maging mapurol. So basa lang ako ng basa, lood lang ako ng lood. And then of course, you see trends, you see the world unfolding. Nakikita mo parang, okay, ano nangyayari? Lahat ng tao stuck sa bahay, walang lumalabas. Pero syempre, brands and products will still have to be bought. So alam mo na magba-marketing at ma-marketing pa rin yan. Lahat ng produkto, the big companies, Nestle, P&G, Unilever, etc., magba-marketing pa rin yan eh. So ngayon, anong klaseng marketing ang gagawin nila? Syempre, they won't do billboards. So ang laki ng budget. Ang laki ng budget na hindi nila magagastos. So, that's where I really pivoted in. Parang, okay, saan nila lalagay yan? Saan nila lalagay yung pera na yan? Kasi yung pera na yan, kailangan pa rin lang gastusin yan. So, I knew that since all of us are stuck, the only stimuli we're looking at would be our cell phones, our TVs, and our mobile gadgets. So, that's when I said, okay, ipivot natin yung influencer agency natin into becoming a digital marketing agency. Kasi lahat nagdi-digital nung time na yun eh. So we were one of the first siguro adapters na nag-full digital during that time. Tapos, I also sort of predicted na a lot of this money, yung money and budget na yan na hindi nagagastos, mapupunta yan sa influencer marketing. And it's good because we were at the forefront of influencer marketing even before the pandemic. So what we did was talk to a lot of the ad agencies and talk to the brands and said, ito yung roster of talents ko, we can do influencer campaigns for you. And I also have an agency that can run campaigns for you. So yun, that's where I guess it started. So lumaki ang influencer marketing, most especially during the pandemic. Although we've been doing it for like almost 15 years. Pero mas lumaki siya, talagang exponential yung growth niya during the pandemic. So isa kami masasabi na natin siguro sa mga sinwerte nung pandemic only because we pivoted and we made good decisions. So yun yung mga skills, I guess, that I think very important for entrepreneurs to have. Yun nga, yung una, making the right decisions. Tapos rin, also during the pandemic, meron naman kaming isang negosyong sinara. So as much as influencer marketing grew, and digital marketing grew, meron din kaming isang negosyo which is yung production for vlogging. Medyo nahirapan kami doon. So, we had to close it down. Not naman close it down, we had to stop it. So, yun din yung decision to whether go with it or hindi, or to stop, etc. And then, one of the people who I consider a mentor, tinanong niya ako, Joy, mga decision mo ba? Kanino mo binabounce off yan? Do you have do you have a mancom that you talk to? Ganon. And then, that's when I realized, oo nga, wala akong ganun. Nangyayari, okay, pag may pera ako, sige, invest natin. Imbis na invest ko kung saan, imbis na i-gastosin ko kung saan, I'll invest in putting up another business. So hanggang sa dumami na dumami, di ba? As I've said nung first episode natin, naging 6 yan. Hanggang sa naging 6, hindi ko na kayang patakbuhin mag-isa. So, parang na-shelve yung dalawa, sinara yung isa. So, and then I realized when I was asked that question, parang, oo nga, no, wala akong pinagtatanungan. So, I guess, very important din yung realization na you need to be humble enough to understand na hindi lahat ng decision mo magiging tama. Merong minsan, ang galing-galing ng decision mo, Meron din minsan na parang, ay, maling-mali yung decision mo that you lose money, di ba? So, yun. I think also now, at this stage that you've scaled, you also have to consult. You need to also ask people who are experts at their field. Kasi hindi ka naman expert sa lahat. Halimbawa, ako, I've been in marketing for a long time, pero hindi pwedeng ako rin ang sa finance, di ba? Kasi hindi ko naman alam yung finance. Hindi rin ako pwedeng ako yung sa HR. Di ba? So, there are a lot of facets in business na hindi naman ikaw ang pinakamagaling dyan. So, you need to be able to refer and consult people who are good at what they're doing. So, yun yung isang realization.
So you believe also that when you set up a team, you set up different types of expertise and humbly understand that their expertise you should be relying on. But of course, because you're the ultimate decision maker, they have to give you inputs that would put together a decision that you can, as a mancom, no, you can arrive into a decision that will eventually make an impact to the business. Hindi yung dahil ikaw expert, ikaw na yung masusunod, di ba? Is that what you're saying?
Yep, exactly. So, ngayon, moving forward, isa rin sa mga gusto namin gawin. And Dennis and Paul, I'm sure iti-table natin to. Isa to sa mga magiging discussion natin pag nandito ka na sa pagdalaw mo dito sa Pilipinas, Paul. On the third quarter of this year, we're planning to actually do a business summit for content creators. So, ang isang nakikita kong trend ngayon, a lot of the content creators, kasi syempre, di ba, we're managing content creators, we're managing celebrities and influencers. Isang nakikita namin, kasi syempre, they wanna do this, they wanna be content creators and influencers because they wanna monetize as well. No? So, nagiging alternative career na talaga yung pagiging content creator ngayon. And hindi na natin yan made-deny. At saka, hindi mo na makokontra yan. That's really gonna be an alternative career now. No? Dati parang nire-resist pa natin yan. Pag yung mga anak natin, marinig natin, oh, I wanna be a YouTuber. Parang, ha?
Hindi pwede, mag-aral ka. Magtapos ka muna.
Bakit ka pa nag-aaral sa magandang eskwelahan kung mag-YouTuber ka lang, di ba? So, dati you resisted it. Pero now, it's really becoming an alternative career, no? So, right now, we want to equip them. Kasi napapansin namin, so, how do you monetize? You monetize out of the platforms. TikTok, YouTube. Pero syempre, yung longevity niyan, hindi ganun ka-sustainable.
Mabilis mag-grow, mabilis rin mawala yung kasi trend-based yan eh.
Yeah. Tsaka ano siya, ano yung odds? One in what? 500,000, di ba? YouTubers ang talagang magiging who will really make it big. So, hindi siya gano'n ka-sustainable. So, a lot of these content creators now are, of course, because of their popularity and the number of followers that they have, they wanna get into business. Ang ginagawa, merchandise, they sell merchandise, they create their own brand, they put up their own businesses. So gusto sana naming makatulong doon and equip that part of the industry and that trend. Ang isang nakita namin, okay, tataas ang benta, makabenta sila kasi syempre sikat sila. Pag sabi ng bilhin nyo to,
may followers.
Bilhin ng mga tao. Pero syempre, yung managing a business and putting up a company, lalo na kung wala silang background, wala silang experience, that's what sometimes makes the business fail, no? Mabilis umangat, mabilis din mag-plateau, and mabilis din mag-decline. We all know, Paul, that we've been in marketing. We all know that products will always have a life cycle. Alam natin na meron yang pag-angat, merong pagka-plateau, at merong pagka-ano. And having a good system and having the right background and having the right knowledge and making the right decisions will actually help you future-proof and pahabain yung longevity ng kumpanya mo, di ba? So, we want to be able to help tong content creators na to. So, we're creating that summit. We're gonna bring in mentors, suppliers, and all the resource speakers who can talk to them about everything to know about running a business. For example, people who will talk about taxes, diba? How to properly pay taxes. So maybe I can invite someone from BIR to speak, someone from DOLE also to speak. And then manufacturers, kasi like right now, ang number one na negosyo dito ngayon na okay would be food and then skincare. So maybe we can also invite manufacturers, and then linking them together. So yun yung isang we're leaning towards doing, and hopefully we'd be able to stage in the third quarter of this year.
Maganda idea yan, Joe, kasi yun nga, ito nga ginagawa natin ngayon, wealth building journey, no? So now that they were able to achieve wealth instantaneously because of content creation, monetization through the social media platforms. Syempre, hindi nila alam kung paano i-handle yun, no? And sometimes they just keep on buying new things, best things na parang, dahil wala ako nito, gusto kong i-flex itong mga to. Tapos mawawala na. So yung iba nag-iisip magtayo na lang ng business para may backup. Meron nga ako nakita na family na nag-break up, parang nasara na yung kanilang social media, di ba? You know that, no? Nasa news recently. So ano na mangyayari dun sa wealth na nakuha na nila? If they haven't started a business, wala silang gagawin na parang backup plan. So you mentioned systems are important, no? Kasi para ma-progress mo, and Dennis is actually an expert on that, no? Productivity systems, accounting, HR, and all of those things, marketing. So tinuturuan niya yung mga small and medium-sized business. On the other hand, for me, I also help out the small, medium-sized businesses. I have what I call this diagram, which is a success innovation builder. Kasi meron talagang, yung na-mention mo kanina about plateau, yung mga excited ka sa produkto mo, tapos i-release mo, ipopromote mo, tapos gumagawa ka ng marketing, tapos nandun ka na sa top, biglang yung marketing mo hindi na nag-work. Kala mo paakyat ng lagi yon. Tapos biglang bumababa ka na bumababa. Yun yung tinatawag kong period of confusion. Period of uncertainty. Hindi na nila alam ano ba yung nag-work na naging successful. So before you go to the level of understanding what, kailangan mong bumalik, mag-self-assessment. 'Di ba? Para ngayon ma-push mo forward, ano ba yung dapat talaga? Ano ba yung mga funnel marketing na 'yan? Ano ba yung AIDA process na 'yan in terms of getting attention and then action at the end to make a sale? All of those things are really important. So tama yung na-mention mo about systems. Now, if you're creating a summit, mamumultiply ngayon yung idea of wealth building to everyone, no? To the Filipinos. That's an amazing idea, and hopefully we will be able to help you on that. Let us know how we will be able to help you on that.
Marami rin kasing mga, siguro yun namang sa side ng mga online sellers, no? Marami mga online sellers na nag-try mag-Shopee, mag-Lazada, and then biglang nag-boom, no?
Yeah.
Yung kanilang, actually I have a few coaching clients na ganyan, ano? One is a perfume brand na, as in ang dami nilang sales, nagpatayo sila ng building, pero hindi sila makapag-scale ng tao because nai-intimidate sila mag-hire ng manager. Kasi ano sila, galing from employment, rank and file, tapos nag-boom yung business. Wala silang alam sa management. Ano? So,
Correct.
doon ngayon pumapasok yung mentorship and yung mga summits like that to help them out in this journey. No? Ngayon, ang ginagawa ko sa kanila, ako yung nag-i-interview ng mga manager. And then I teach them on how to, yung mga key points in managing managers, parang gano'n.
Yeah.
Really helpful sa mga nagsisimula, no?
Pasa mo na lang sa amin yung pag-hiring ng managers. Siyempre may placement company ako, may HR consultant. Kami na lang gumawa niyan.
Pwede, correct. Oo.
Siguro yun nga, no, related to that situation, Joe, no? In terms of your business growth, kailangan nating maintindihan, and probably maganda ma-share mo yung experience mo dito. Kasi running a business requires a different financial mindset on top of managing people, on top of managing your resources, your product, your inventory. Maghahanap ka pa ng customers, di ba? Siyempre, challenge lahat yun. And you will be investing, again, na-mention mo, nag-invest ka ng 3 other companies, you had to scale it down or close it down necessarily para makafocus ka lang dun sa 3 major companies that are really making money. So, how did you manage these financial risks, so to speak, no? Internally, and then externally. Pag sinabi externally kasi, yan yung mga inflation, yan yung factor of yung customers mo, naghahanap ng mas mura, so nawawala sila sa'yo, di ba? May alternative silang pupuntahan. Pero yung internal naman is cost, di ba? Ang daming cost na mai-involve. Now, if you're scaling up, okay lang kung may pumapasok na business. Pero hindi naman laging nandun yung pera eh. Pwedeng kailangan siguro nag-iipon ka talaga dahil what if, no? The what if will happen like the pandemic.
Alam mo, natutunan ko na hindi masamang mangutang. Bilang negosyante, you really have to have like credit lines. You'll really get business loans. Most especially if you're medyo sigurado doon sa, like yun nga, di ba? You're like tiding over lang. Sometimes just a cash flow problem lang, bridging ka lang, etc. So, may pumapasok namang pera. It's just that sometimes yung timing is off. So, instead of putting up more capital, syempre, you can get naman business loans, no? Maraming pwedeng gawin to manage costs. Number one, una yun, manage costs. Number one. I mean, dalawa lang naman bagay ang negosyo. Very, very simple naman ang negosyo if you really look at it. P&L lang yan eh. Kita versus gastos. Diba? That's the simplest way of looking at it.
Make more money or lessen the expenses para may net positive.
Oo, pababain mo yung gastos, palakihin mo yung kita. Yun lang naman yun. So, as you find ways to earn more revenues, you also have to lessen your costs and your expenses, diba? So, right now, I feel naman we're at optimal, no? I mean, even the number of people that we have fully maximized and fully optimized. That's why you have to work with your HR as well, diba? Parang, ano ba, optimal ba tayo o may mga taong walang ginagawa? Or may mga positions ba na hindi naman natin sobrang kailangan? When you're scaling, you really have to have a team.
Meron ka bang like regular meeting with your accounting?
No, your
Yeah,
finance.
yeah.
Is that
Definitely.
weekly, daily, 3 times
Twice a week. Twice a week pa
Twice a
yan.
week.
Twice a week. Oo. And then
Talking
HR
about collections.
twice we're doing it now once a week na rin. Ang HR. Yung collections every day naman I get. Every day I get updates on yung cash flow, pumapasok na pera, ganyan, no.
Tsaka sa
Yeah.
financial perspective naman, even though you are holding too much cash, hindi rin advisable na hindi ka utang eh. Kasi you can use that cash for higher returns na business.
Yeah.
And then gumamit
Agree.
ka ng utang na lower interest. No?
Yeah.
So may mga tinitingnan niya, mga debt to equity ratio, etc. that you can use sa financial analysis. You know,
Yeah.
when is the best timing to loan or something like that. No?
Yeah.
So, yung mga ganon. So, siguro let's dive deeper a little bit lang dun sa in your industry, no, influencer marketing or probably digital marketing in general. Ano ba yung mga
Yeah.
common na challenges sa ganitong business? Kasi I'm sure marami tayong nakikinig din na nasa ganyang space, even myself, no?
Well, una sa lahat ngayon, ang dami na nila. So, competition, saturation, yan ang mga challenges ngayon, di ba? Ang upside lang, a lot of people now are really, ang talagang source of entertainment na nila is the cellphone. Hindi na masyado talaga ang TV, sad to say.
Actually kami, ang TV sa amin, once, twice a week na lang namin ginagamit.
Yeah. Behaviorally, ang consumption is digital. So you need to be there. Kaya nga 'di ba, everywhere you go here in the Philippines, everybody would say, pag ang content creator pumunta sa mall, mas pinagkakaguluhan pa kaysa sa artista ngayon. That's what's
Talaga?
happening. Kasi magugulat ka pagka nagkukumpulan yung mga tao sa mall, sino yun?
Hindi mo kilala.
Hindi mo nakilala ngayon yung pinagkakaguluhan. Parang hindi ka tulad
Talaga?
dati, 'di ba? Pag nakita mo, si Jody
Oo.
Santa Maria, si
Mhm.
Ann Curtis, si Papa P or si Piolo Pascual. Kilala mo kasi big star, 'di ba? Yung pinagkakaguluhan.
Yes, yes.
Yung pinagkakaguluhan, pag tingin mo, hindi mo nakilala eh. Sino
Oo.
ito, 'di ba? So, if you look at that, mga yan na nangyayari, problema ngayon ng content creators is yung saturation tsaka yung longevity. Ang dami yung sumisikat pero laos agad. Kasi ang dami. Libo sila eh. There are thousands of them trying to be popular on the digital platform. So sumikat nga, ang bilis ng pagsikat. Pero sometimes, and more often than not, actually, ang bilis din ng paglubog.
Ugali pa naman natin ng Filipino, gusto natin maging artista, di ba? Kasi yun yung kinalakihan natin, nakikita natin eh.
Alam mo, hindi lang Pilipino, Paul eh. Madami. Actually, ang daming cultures naman. Kasi it's the need to be validated, to be noticed, to be famous.
Pero dito sa New Zealand, to be honest dito, hindi usong artista.
Talaga.
I know. And
Hindi
there are
kami,
some,
wala. Ibang culture, nakakatuwa talaga.
may mga countries na ganyan na napapansin namin din, no? Like for example, in Singapore, kasi syempre multicultural sila, di ba? Hindi din masyado, di ba? Pero like Indonesia, lakas din ng influencer marketing sa Indonesia. Dito, ang lakas din natin. Kaya lang yun eh. How do you now, as a content creator, for example, how do you now make sure that you stay long in the business? Marami naman. Madami naman yung talagang ang haba nung kanilang career sa pagiging influencer or content creator. Pero madami din talaga yung bilis ng pag-angat, mabilis din yung pagbagsak. So yun, yung isang challenge yun ngayon, yung learning to sustain your audience and growing your audience. Kasi ngayon, ano na yan eh, kanya-kanyang trabaho na yan, kusang palo na, kumbaga. Kasi self-creation na yan eh, yung content ngayon, di ba?
Yung produkto mo ba ikaw as a content creator or yung mga ginagawa mo? Eh syempre sa dami ng gustong gumawa ng exciting na bagay, parang nakokopya na ng iba, nauulit na lang. Tama ba yun? Yun ba yung nagiging saturation point na sinasabi mo na parang pare-pareho na lang lahat yan?
Actually, both yourself and your content. So, yun nga, if you know that you're already plateauing or reaching that point, you have to go back to the drawing table, look at your audience, ano ba ang na-appreciate ng audience ko, and then pivot. You have to pivot your content. Ibahin mo or slowly changing your content, di ba?
Pero yung iba fake na yung content, 'di ba? Yung parang sige, nag-video pero kala mo ito yung real life pero hindi naman. Kasi yung authenticity malaking bagay pero alam mo hindi na authentic yun kasi parang scripted na talaga yun, 'di ba?
Yeah, very important pa rin talaga yung authenticity. Tapos ngayon, ang nakikita din naming trend yung collaboration. Kasi nga, syempre, it will reach a certain saturation point na ang nakikita lang ng mga tao sa content mo parati yung mukha mo at ikaw lang, di ba? So eventually, magsasawa yung mga yan. So you have to be able to understand paano silang hindi magsasawa. So, you have to diversify. Iba-ibahin mo yung content mo. Maybe add a content bucket every now and then collaborate. I mean, show other faces inside your content.
As an agency owner, ano mga challenges when you deal with these people? Influencers, celebrities?
Yeah.
Yung mga siguro big celebrity versus small celebrity pero kailangan nila ng tulong mo. That's a good question, Dennis, no? Malaking difference yun eh, di ba? Lalo na yung big celebrity.
May mga business owners kasi siguro na who wants to talk directly to these people, no, na hindi dadaan sa agency. Ano ba yung mga criteria na they should look at?
Remember, Joe, like third quarter of last year, I asked you, di ba? Ano ba ang effect ng influencer marketing? Ano ba yung TikTok marketing and everything? O second quarter of last year. And then ngayon, sa Prima Carne namin na business, we're dealing with a lot of influencers na maliliit lang yun, ha? Maliliit. Merong nagpapabayad, merong nagpapa-X-deal.
So talagang i-analyze mo. So give us a thought. Kung kunyari ako businessman, anong kailangan ko para makuha ko yung tamang influencer?
So, dalawa yung questions ninyo ha. Sasagutin ko isa-isa. Yung isang question, what are the challenges of managing or being an agency for influencers? Yun muna yung una ko sasagutin. Challenges, kaya rin namin gustong gawin yung summit, supposedly, is for us to be able to also educate sana content creators on how to properly deal with brands and how to properly, not only negotiate yung building relationships talaga with brands. Kasi marami kaming na-experience, for example, the breach of contracts.
Dahil hindi sila sanay na nakikipagkontrata. Parang ganon?
Oo, dahil hindi sila sanay, no? Second, yung adhering to timelines, to deadlines. Problema namin din yan. Parating late mag-submit ng drafts. Sometimes, may mga brands makikita ka na nagko-comment, for example, sa mga community pages na ginost na sila ng influencer after getting paid. Hindi na nag-send ng draft. So, I think kasi surge na sobrang dumami bigla yung influencers, content creators because yun nga, behaviorally, ang consumption ng mga tao now is to watch these influencers on their mobile phones. Hindi naman sila equipped and educated to to do it more professionally. Some of them, baka nga high school pa lang or are still in school, tumigil mag-school dahil nga gusto nila maging content creator. Wala rin naman sa education system natin ngayon yung magturo sa kanila on how to properly become one So, I think we need to be there for them. Hindi ko sinisisi sa kanila kaya unprofessional sila. I think because hindi rin sila equipped.
Walang education system na nagbigay nun.
That sort of teaches them to how to properly do it. Kaya nga gusto kong gawin yung business summit na yun. So yun yung, to answer your first question, ano yung challenges of being an agency managing influencer campaigns. Yun, dealing with them. And sometimes, and more often than not, the brands, hindi rin naiintindihan ni brands yun. Kasi syempre mga brand managers, marketing managers, they were educated and they were marketing professionals. To them, parang sobrang, hello, bakit di kayo nagsasabit ng draft? Diba? What's happening? So, being an agency in between, ikaw yung taga-manage sa brands. brand, wait lang. We'll help you through this. Ganito, kami bahala. Wait lang. Si influencer naman, hoy, influencer, ano ba? Gusto mo bang ma-cancel tong contract na to? Do you wanna earn from this? Kailangan mong umayos. So kami we're the go-in-between to sort of make them understand each other. To answer your question, Paul, how do brands now make sure that they successfully execute a successful influencer campaign? You have to hire us. Yun.
It's na to ah.
Naporsige
Yun ang
na yan
Tama
sa
yan,
mga
tama
yan.
yan.
Yun ang pinakasagot doon. No,
Tama
but,
yan.
Yeah.
but
Someone who's an
truth be told,
expert doing it, no? Oo.
you really need to have someone there who understands the language of both.
Mm.
Kasi ako, di ba, galing ako marketing. So, naintindihan ko yung language ni brand eh. Tapos, talent manager din ako. So, naintindihan ko rin yung language ni artist tsaka ni
Yeah.
influencer. I feel like that's what most of the big agencies we're working with now, appreciate from us. Kasi nga, bilingual ako. I understand the language of marketing. I also understand the language of talent management. So, yun lang yung vetting process. For example, we have a tool to help brands decide sinong influencer ang kukunin nila kasi meron kaming tool na ito yung campaign na gusto mo, ito yung target market mo.
Ito na ba yung tool na ginagamit natin ngayon? Gagawin natin ngayon, Jo? Kasama ba yan?
Hindi pa meron kaming existing pero
May iba pa.
yun na nga, doon sa gagawin natin with di ba? Mas maganda, magiging proprietary atin,
Mas-
di ba?
Mas high-end, no?
Oo.
Mm.
Yung tool lang naman makes it faster for us to do it. Pero even without the tool, kaya namin mag-vet. Kasi being in this industry for a long time, kilala na namin lahat ng influencers at content creators Makita lang namin yung campaign, makita lang namin yung brand, makita lang namin target market. Alam na namin agad okay, si anong bagay dito. And then we already have a parang templated list na, ito yung mga list, ito yung number of followers nila, etc., etc. Ito yung profile nila. Mamimili na lang si brand.
Or i-reviewin mo rin kung ito bang influence na to, converting ba ito or vanity metrics lang binibigay?
Yeah, meron na kami mga success stories So, madali na for us now to vet. So, the vetting process alone, yan yung isa sa mga pinaka-importanting parte ng influencer marketing, yung pagpili. And sometimes, most brands, pag nakita lang, ay, madaming followers, okay, kunin natin to. Kaso, madaming ang followers pero maliit lang naman engagement rate. Ang engagement rate, 0.001%. Diba? So, hindi nakikita ng karamihan ng mga brands yun. Yun, very important ang vetting, selection of influencers, and then, yung execution, yung managing these influencers to adhere to schedules, to follow the posting guidelines, to use the hashtags required, yung mga ganong nitty-gritty. Someone has to be there to manage that. So, that's why we exist. That's why our agency exists for that purpose. Sometimes, yung mga brands, saka lalo na yung mga SMEs, nagtitipid, ginagawa nila on their own. And then they find themselves in the end, ay hindi naman effective ang influencers kasi hindi na execute ng tama. Para sa akin, maling pagtitipid again. Marketing is always an investment, not an expense. Kasi a lot of business owners ang tingin nila sa marketing expense. It is not. It's an investment. Kung gusto mong maging future-proofed or gusto mong kumita ng mas malaki, you really have to invest in marketing.
Marketing is actually a part of sales. Kasi hindi ka makakabenta properly kasi kailangan mo rin ibenta yung reputation ng product mo in the company, di ba? So, marketing will do that for you. So, kailangan talaga profit center ang mindset, hindi siya cost center.
Pwede ka ba dito sa Lipa?
Pwede.
Yun, no.
Actually, nandiyan ako kahapon din. Hindi na kita nasabihin. May kliyente ako dyan kahapon. I was there to also do marketing for a big brand there.
Hindi naman co-working
producing-
space yan, no? O kaya cafe.
Hindi. Hindi. May coffee shop siyang tinatayo tsaka resort. Pero yung tatrabahuhin namin for marketing, yung meat products niya. So, meron siya mga meat products.
Nako, magbebenta pa naman tayo ng prima carne dito ah.
Hindi, pero hindi steaks ito. Malayo.
Premium naman,
So,
premium imported.
processed food. So,
Para kasi
nandiyan ako
na-convince ako
kahapon.
dun sa service mo So maglo-launch ako ng bagong branch next week. So baka
Anytime. Yeah, I can go to Lipa anytime. That's so ang lapit-lapit lang ng
Lapit
Lipa.
lang, oo.
I mean, Skyway lang yan, Start all.
sabay kayo March 22 Saturday may launch event.
Yun pala.
March
Isama mo yung
March
pinakamalaki mong celebrity.
Ito, parang pwede. Pwede, magmumotor
Sige,
na
ayusin
lang ako.
natin. Pero maglalaro ako dyan, ha? I
Isama
need to
mo
play
yung
golf.
pinakamalaki mong celebrities. Para ma-promote.
Magmomotor ako March 22. Hindi, pakita mo sa akin kung anong event. Sige, baka pwede ako magsama. May isa akong content creator na nandyan lang sa San Pedro.
Okay.
Pwede natin papuntahin yun sa
Good.
sa event.
Yeah, ano to,
Yan.
parang launching lang of our new branch. That branch kasi is para siyang collaboration and workshop hub. You know, we can do
I can
workshops.
speak if you want. I can do
Pwede
ano.
rin.
Sige.
Sige.
Oo, no problem.
Yun.
Hindi dapat, after that, yun ang gawin natin. Meron tayong workshop.
Ayun.
Mm-mm.
No, sa April, gawin natin kasi andyan pa ako until April 20th.
Good.
Yeah.
I'll just continue, Dance, and because we're running short of time. Siguro there are two questions, Joe, so we can close this podcast today. Looking back with your skills and mindset shift that happened to you, no, how was it able to help you? No, what will be your advice to a business owner shifting from an entrepreneurial situation to a business situation? Ano yung main advice mo para sa kanila?
I didn't think that you'd ask this question, pero I was thinking this. Yung thoughts ko kaninang umaga is part an answer to this question. Pag nagnegosyo ka na, unang-unang mindset na tingin ko is to be ready to not go back to employment. Remember when I said before, when I was starting, sabi ko, hindi negosyo ako, pero okay lang, may pera naman ako. In case na hindi mag-work, pwede naman akong bumalik sa employment. It gets to a certain point, like 2 years, 3 years down the line, di ka na pwedeng bumalik sa employment. So, no turning back. Diba? So, you just have to make it work. So, yung mindset na yon, na once you get into business, na dapat no turning back, na dapat whatever happens, you have to make it work. Kasi yun nga iba rin ang employment. Ang employment, papasok ka araw-araw, tatagap ka sweldo, wala ka namang pakialam sa mga iba mong ka-opisina Dapat wala kang pakialam kung magkano sila sweldo nila or paano sila nagpo-provide sa sarili nila pamilya. Ang concern mo is, nagagawa ko ba yung role ko, napapasweldo ba ako ng tama ng employer ko, at napapakain ko ba ng maayos ang pamilya ko. That's it. Ang entrepreneur is very, very different kasi nga, hindi na lang sarili mong iniisip at pamilya mo. You're now thinking of how do you help una sa lahat the economy. Diba? Syempre, katulong ka sa ekonomiya with the taxes that you're paying, with the business permits that you're paying, with all of the government mandatories that you're paying. So nakakatulong ka. Second, of course, nakatulong ka rin sa mga empleyado mo. There are, like us, we have 40 to 50 souls that we're helping, and there are 40 to 50 people that we're feeding technically, di ba?
And their families.
And their families. So, even yung mga pag-provide mo ng HMO, nakakatulong yan. So, medyo iba na yung mindset mo You're not anymore just thinking about yourself. It's not anymore about magkanong kikitain ko this month. Anong pwede kong mabili sa kikitain ko this month. Hindi na siya ganon. So medyo, yun, I think that's the major difference and major mindset. So you're now working not just for yourself, but you're actually working for a lot of people who are dependent on you. Diba? So dapat maayos yung diskarte mo kasi pag nagkamali ka ng diskarte, hindi lang naman 3 taong magugutom, 50 taong magugutom, diba? So I think the mindset of it being a bigger responsibility should be on the table and should be accepted na parang eto siya, mas malaking responsibility siya. Hindi siya pagpapayaman lang. It's a responsibility. Yun yung, I think, biggest advice ko to those people who wanna get into business. Responsibilidad siya. Hindi lang siya pagpapayaman. It's not just about earning more.
Actually, ako nga tawag ko sa company ko, sa mga tao namin is family. So I call, the people in the company, Innovate Family. No? So I always consider them as family kasi talagang responsibilidad mo sila Minsan, to the point nga, inaalam mo yung situation ng mga anak nila, may sakit ba or what. Hindi yun fake concern. Talagang totoong concern yun di ba?
Yep, exactly. Dito rin, ganon, amplified family kami. We run it like a family. In fact, one of the things that I've started to do, medyo matagal na rin naman, lahat ng bagong hire, kahit intern, I make sure na merong breakfast yan with me. So, tapos, I get to know them and they get to ask me any question, kahit personal or kahit work-related. Yon, meron kaming breakfast with the leaders. So yun, because para sa akin, sharing a meal is very important and yan yung ginagawa ng isang pamilya, di ba? So we make sure that the new hires started off that way, na they have breakfast with us.
Dance, meron ka pang question kay Joe?
Yeah, final question ko sa'yo is if you will have that one single trait na dapat meron ka as an entrepreneur, no? What is that?
Resilience. Ang bilis ng sagot ko, di ba? Kailangan talaga resilient ka. Wala Ano talaga tapang ng loob lang Patigasan lang talaga. Kasi resilience is developed through time and experience. Yung talagang the more na binubugbog ka, the more na bumabangon ka. Kasi it's very hard na merong mga times yung nabugbog ka isang beses, ayoko na. Ano na ako? Change course, balik na ako employment. Or ayoko na, quit na, isara na. So wala, you really have to be resilient. Kahit anong challenge ang ibigay sa'yo, wala kang choice. Kailangan mong bumangon.
Yung character na yan ba, nakikita mo niya nung bata ka pa?
Oo, kasi mahirap lang kami nung bata Nung bata ako, we weren't well off at all. Lalo na yung kunento ko, namatay yung father ko na maaga. So medyo mahirap yung buhay. So you just have to deal with it, diba? O mahirap ang buhay pero gusto kong graduate sa Ateneo. Paano yun? Parang hindi aligned, diba? Parang paano mo magagawa yun? And I worked my way up, 'di ba? Like naging scholar ako, nakatapos ako, etc. Pero there were challenges pa rin. Like wala naman kaming pera, so walang pang-alawan sa akin, wala akong pampamasahe papasok dati. Wala, didiskarte ka talaga. Yung ginagawa mo ni experience mo dating sasabit ka sa jeep tapos pag malapit na yung babaan mo, tatalon ka na lang kasi wala kang pambayad. Wala, kasi gusto kong pumasok ng eskwelahan walang choice Walang choice, kailangan pumasok ng eskwelahan, di ba? So, yung mga ganong diskarte, I'm hoping na even my kids makuha yung discarding yun. Kasi yun yung importante. Yung hindi ka nagkikwit. Yung may gusto akong gagawin ko yan kahit anong mangyari at all cost. So, yun.
Alright, so yun, what a conversation again with Jojo.
Again.
Thank you again for sharing your insights and challenges na running a business. Is there anything you want to promote before we wrap this up?
Well, una sa lahat, i-hire mo na yung HR consultancy firm ko para sa mga kliyente mo. Pangalawa, sabi nyo, mga influencer campaigns, paano ba mamimili ang mga brands ba? Pag may alam kayo, una sa lahat, sa amin nyo na ipasa para mas magaan ang buhay ninyo. Thirdly, yung summit, let's try to work on it, all of us together, kasi we will need all the help that we can get for that summit. Inviting content creators, inviting suppliers, inviting manufacturers, inviting speakers. Lahat yan, malaking scope yan. Pero once ma-stage natin yan, I feel magiging malaking impact yan sa industriya ng content creation. And yun. So those are the things that maybe I can promote in your platform and in your podcast. So again, maraming salamat.
Thank you. Sir Paul, anything?
Maraming salamat, Joe.
No, I'm good. I'm very glad that we had this conversation. Pag uwi ko dyan, I think we'll have a third episode. And the third episode is talking about, transition na. Yung, kunyari, yan nga, sabi mo, mga clients mo about content creators, ano yung mga gusto mong i-share na steps sa kanila. Tapos siguro, bibigyan din natin ng systems ni Dennis, no? And then, probably, I could share, yun nga sinasabi kong, yung graph na ginagamit ko para bigyan ng advice yung mga small and medium-sized businesses. So, yun yung mga bagay na kailangan natin collaborate on and share on in another episode so that yung journey talaga ng mga audience natin, meron silang magagamit na step-by-step guides. It probably will help.
Hope to see you soon, guys,
Alright.
in the next 2 weeks.
Yeah, for our listeners, if you found this episode helpful, don't forget to subscribe to the Wealth Building Journey podcast. We'll see you soon.
All right.
Alright, thank you.
Bye, guys. See
Thank you,
soon.
guys. All right.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Bye.